Matilda, can you hear me?
I can.
Does it have any static in the line?
I don't hear any, Tom.
Okay.
So you want me to call him or you gonna call him? I'll call him. Yeah, he sure did. I took it. I took it. That same evening, he told her to just do his shot or something. But yeah, here you go. Well, I'll call him. Because Kenny has, the picture, right, that we keep out there. He has it up in his office, and you have to take it apart and exchange it. Right. So that's, he took it. All right, I'll call him tomorrow. Okay. What? Yeah, all of you have one. Yeah. Just tell me ready. Rubber sites, we're ready.
All right, I was waiting for you all to unmute the boardroom. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good evening to each of you. Everybody's ready in the boardroom. Everybody online, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, we're ready.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. This time we call to order our February the 22nd, 2021 meeting, of the Weldon City School Board of Education to order at 7:06 p.m. At this time, we'll ask if our board vice chair, Mrs. Tanya Bird Robinson, if she would share our thought for the evening. Do you all have something different on my printed agenda?
March. I thought we was in March, Reverend Sykes. March.
We
The
are,
month of March. I
Right.
thought Ms. Bird Robinson did February start of the evening.
It's Tiffany Hale
I
tonight.
did do
It's Tiffany.
February. Yeah, I did February.
I'm just going by what's on the agenda for the thought for the evening. That's all. That's what's printed on my agenda that I printed off assembly.
Right, I'm saying it's Tiffany Hale tonight. This is March meeting.
Correct. Her name is printed on my March agenda.
Okay,
a mistake, okay?
okay, all right.
Ms. Hale, if you don't want to do it, I'll gladly do it.
Okay, I don't want to be looking over anybody. I'm just going by what's on
You can go
our,
ahead. You can go on, Ms. Bird Robinson, because I wasn't prepared. I know
Okay.
I'd normally do September, and I was given another month later in the year, but
Not a problem. We'll work it out.
thank you.
You're
thank
welcome.
both of you ladies. Thank you, Mrs. Harrison, also for
Okay.
calling that to attention. Appreciate it.
All right.
We're ready.
Okay. All right, and mine is very simple. First of all, good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Now that our students are preparing to come back and our teachers are preparing to receive our children, I want us to ponder something very quickly. Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. Again, education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. If we can keep this in mind when our students return to us, know that we are prepared to give them all that they need. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bird Robinson. At this time, I ask all of the board members, if you would, to please review your agendas for tonight.
Mr. Sykes,
Yes,
excuse me, the mission statement,
yes, you are exactly right. Thank you very much.
you're
We
welcome.
should have done that when we called everything to order. Can we have our mission statement stated together? Everybody ready?
Yes.
The
Let us
mission,
share together.
the
The
mission
mission
of the Weatherford City District is to create, maintain a highly
Highly
effective
effective
educational
educational
system
in which every student
receives the highest quality education. School
School
employees and
and
parents
work together
to
to
prepare
prepare
students to become caring, competent,
and
and responsible citizens who value education
as a
as a lifelong process.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hale, for bringing that to our attention tonight. And forgive me for doing our mission statement out of order. All right, board members, you have the agenda in front of you. Please review quickly. Are there any additions or deletions that we need to make to the agenda tonight?
Mr. Chair, I would like to
Yes.
add, school calendar to the agenda.
School calendar,
Yes.
okay. Can we do that as number or letter H under reports, I guess, for discussion?
Letter H on the report.
Can we make, yes, letter H under reports? Can we do that can we have discussion there?
Sure, that's fine with me.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I want to add, holding temporary service.
Okay. We will add that. Can we make that number 9? No, excuse me, not 9. Great. Dr. Congleton,
Yes, sir.
very quickly, do we have anybody for public forum tonight? I'm trying
One
to,
person. Yes, sir.
okay,
We
all
have
right.
one.
After public forum, can we have that discussion after that? Would you be all right with that, Mr. Williams?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can make that 8A. Holding. What was that? Temporary services, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And this is discussion/action, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Hold on one second. Let me make sure I'm writing all of this down. H. Ms. Hale, you said school calendar, correct? We're gonna make that H under reports for discussion.
Okay.
All right. Yes, Mrs. K. Robinson.
we need to move, excuse me, we need to move from number 9, the consent agenda, letter B, revised policy 2342, voting methods.
Okay.
From the consent agenda.
Okay. Can we just make that 8B for discussion?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? All right, let me do a brief recap to make sure I got everything that has been requested to be added. School calendar, we will, under reports, we're going to talk about that. That will be 5H, school calendar for discussion. Ms. Hale. Okay, we have 8A after public forum, holding temporary services, discussion/action. Mr. Williams. And we have 8B, removing revised policy 2342 voting methods to 8B and moving it off of the consent agenda for discussion. Is that correct, Ms. K. Robinson?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other additions or deletions? Okay. Hearing none, a motion would be in order to approve the amended agenda.
I make a motion to approve the amended agenda for tonight.
There's a second?
Second.
Thank you so much. The motion has been made by Ms. Tiffany Hale and seconded respectfully by Mrs. Donna Harrison that we approve the amended agenda. You heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Mrs. Byrd Robinson,
Aye.
Mrs. K.A. Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Hale,
Aye.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins, and O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect that it was a unanimous vote. At this time, we ask if all of the board members, if you reviewed your open session minutes from February 25th, 2021. Everyone review their minutes. Everyone received their minutes.
I did have a question, Mr. Chairman. Did we
Okay.
receive minutes from our special call meeting from March 3rd, 2021?
They are not slated for approval tonight. Excuse me?
They'll be on the April agenda.
Okay.
Right. Thank you. I didn't hear you. I thought the boardroom froze on my end. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kitty. All right. A motion is in order to receive then the minutes from our February 25th, 2021 meeting. Motion is in order to approve the minutes. Ms. K. Robinson, if you were speaking, you were muted.
I move that we accept the minutes from the February 25th, 2021 board meeting as written.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been moved by Ms. K. Robinson and seconded by Ms. Hale that we approve the minutes from our February 25th, 2021 meeting. You've heard that motion. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Ms. Jenkins? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Hale?
Aye.
Ms. K.A. Robinson?
Aye.
Mrs. Byrd Robinson?
Aye.
And Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect that the minutes were approved unanimously. All right, we'll go into reports at this time. First, we'll have Superintendent's report, Dr. Collins.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, board members, employees, parents, and the Charger family. It is my pleasure to share with you my March superintendent's report. After a year of school closure due to COVID-19, our schools have been given the green light to begin moving towards the restoration of normalcy. As each of you know, starting March 29th, we will begin the process of gradually restoring our face-to-face instruction to our students in a gradual, consistent, and hopefully successful way. Those who wish to do so will be allowed to return to school on a voluntary basis, while the others will remain on remote learning until further notice. Hopefully, as the pandemic becomes more under control and with more and more people being vaccinated on a daily basis, we are hopeful that it will be just a matter of time before all schools and students are operating and participating in a normal school environment. Meanwhile, the schools and the district are working diligently to prepare for the transition. We sincerely believe that we are ready and prepared to bring our returning students back to a clean, safe, and educationally engaging environment. This is our priority, and we continue to prepare daily to achieve this objective. On March 8th, 2021, I participated in the Halifax County Commissioners meeting for the purpose of presenting the 5-year facility study to the commissioners. The commissioners chairman, as well as the school board chairman, have signed the acknowledgement forms which have been submitted to the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. On March 10th, 2021, I met with the county manager and finance officer to discuss our financial needs and possible allotments for the 2021-22 school year. This was just a preliminary informational meeting in preparations for the development of our final budget that will be submitted to the board for final approval once we receive budget allotments from the state and from the county. My staff and I have conducted multiple walkthroughs for the schools as a means of assessing the needs in order to successfully reopen our schools under the state guidelines. We are confident that all processes, materials, and supplies will be in place and available to the schools prior to the March 29th opening date. I had a very productive and comprehensive meeting with the Employee Advisory Council. Representatives were given the opportunity to express any concerns that they have, ask any questions of concern, and to be updated on the readiness and preparedness of the school district for bringing some students back to school. Representatives seem to be very appreciative of this opportunity as we look forward to and prepare for next month's meeting. The members of the central office staff, along with myself, will be available and present at each school on opening day to monitor the situation, offer assistance, and to assist in making on-the-spot adjustments if necessary in order to assure a safe and orderly transition back to school. Schools have begun the planning process for end-of-year activities, including graduation and other programs. Final plans for graduation are not available yet, as school officials are in the process of making their recommendations for end-of-year closeout. We must still keep in mind that the COVID crisis is still with us, and all that we plan and do must be done so with the realities of COVID-19 as a backdrop. Some situations can and may change on a moment's notice based upon local, state, and federal guidelines. I want to offer a special congratulations to Mrs. Jenny Robertson, principal of Weldon Middle School, for having just completed all requirements for being awarded a doctorate degree. Congratulations, Dr. Jenny Robertson. We are very proud of your accomplishment. I want to thank the community, teachers, and all school and central office officials, board members as well, for your hard work, commitment, and dedication that have allowed us to successfully navigate through the COVID crisis with minimal and manageable negative impact on our school district. Charger pride is rampant, alive, and well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Congleton, for this month's report. Any board member have any question for Dr. Congleton at this time? All right. Thank you again, Dr. Congleton, for your report.
Certainly.
I just want to encourage all of our parents, all of our students, our staff, and everyone within our school district. Please understand and know, as I have said before, and I'll say again tonight, as we prepare to transition for those that desire in-person learning, for our students to return to the classroom, to our schools, want you to know that we're going to do all that is within our power as a board to make sure that we provide a safe and a learning environment for our students. We're going to do the very best that we can through and by Dr. Congleton and all that is in our power to make sure that our schools have everything that they need as far as equipment, and that everybody feels comfortable and safe. We want learning to be at its highest peak. We know that there may be some gaps because we had to do education in a way in which we never thought that we would have to do before. But parents and staff and students and all, please know that this board has a heart for what we are going through. We don't take it lightly, and we want to do all that we can. We're planning to do all that we can to make sure, again, that we provide safe and healthy and learning environment for our students and staff and parents and all stakeholders. Let me thank our Board of Education as a whole for navigating through these times in which we find ourselves dealing with. And this board knows that there are several things that we're being confronted with at this time outside of our monthly duties as a board. So board members, let me thank you all for your ability that you put forth and demonstrate to make sure that we do our very best to ensure that Weldon City Schools District is the very best that it can be. Thank all of our staff, of course, for the individual roles that you play. And we hope and we trust that everybody will do their very best at their job, that we can all move forward together. Thank you, Weldon City Schools, and thank you, board members. Thank you, Dr. Congleton, and especially our students, and most of all, our students for what they do, and our staff. Thank you so much. Please know that you are appreciated so very, very much. All right, at this time, we're going to go into C as far as our school health is concerned. Who is slated to do that? Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I see her now. All right, Ms. Knight.
All right, good evening, board chair, board members. I am here to provide the school health update. Oh, I forgot. I'm in control now. And so as I am excited to announce that as of this month, March, we have not had any cases of suspected, presumptive, or positive. So I would like to commend and thank everyone for their diligence as well as their cooperation in ensuring that they are maintaining and practicing our 3 Ws, waiting 6 feet, washing our hands, and wearing our masks. So, and I have also attached, which is linked once it is sent out to you, the COVID-19 dashboard that will be displayed once we have an opportunity to get that information, once our students return for in-person learning. So are there any questions in regard to the school health update?
Ms. Snipes, I have a question. It's K.A. Robinson.
Yes,
Is there a particular reason why no one from the health department in Halifax comes to our board meetings like they do the other 2 systems in our county?
I am not quite sure. They have been invited. Mr. Bruce Robinstow is the director, so I can definitely reach out to him to see if he is available. So we have shared that information with them previously, but I can definitely ask.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Snipes.
Yes, sir.
Did I understand you to say that they have not been invited?
They have been invited.
They have been. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make sure. Okay. Thank you for the
clarity. Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other question? All right. We'll move forward then with D, as far as our school reopening. Who is slated to do that?
I am here again.
Okay.
So I am here to provide just an overview of some of the things in which we have been doing and have done as it relates to reopening. So we're going to start first with our infection control materials and our PPE items. And this is as of March 17th. The schools, which the principals have signed out the items listed under their area, which includes additional disposable face masks, gloves, hand soap, hooded coveralls for those particular employees that do the deep cleaning on Fridays, paper towels, a Protexis electrostatic sanitizer with tabs. If you have viewed our video of reopening, you should see that in use by Mr. Troy Garrison. Kleenex sanitizer bottle refills, which each school except for RVAC, which receive 4-gallon refills. Everyone else received 5 due to their size. And then additional toilet tissue for the restroom. The buses, we have created 15 hygiene totes, which includes a touchless thermometer, 2 pair of gloves, hand sanitizer, disinfectant spray, tissue box, disposable face mask, and a symptom screening checklist, as well as the surplus totes of the above items, including, and they also have, just for the buses alone, a electrostatic sanitizer. So those items are available here, and they, Mr. Tillery did not pick them up today. He said he was going to come in the morning to pick up the items for the bus.
Okay.
As far as
Ms. Snipes, before
Yes.
you move from there, there's one thing that I did not see that with our schools, disinfectant wipes. Have our schools been given disinfectant wipes?
So at the time in which we were looking at which would be better, the disinfectant wipes are using a spray bottle with disinfectant spray within it. Since there was a back order and a law for the wipes, we utilized the spray bottle solution, which all schools have the spray bottle solutions, and as well as the additional paper towels to assist so that they could spray and then wipe those areas instead of the actual wipes.
Are wipes available now?
Wipes are still tentative. We wouldn't have enough to retrofit all of the schools. We have some samples from some companies, but they are not at the grade in which is required based off of the CDC, based off of those particular guidelines. So the grade in which we need is not available right now.
And what is the grade?
So the grade in which we need, which is also, hold on, give me 1 second. So it's the EPA approved disinfectant for SARS and COVID-2. At this time, those which are similar to the Clorox wipes, or they have suggested as well, if we couldn't get the wipes, the solution. So that's why we went with the solution at this time, because it was more readily available than the wipes.
Okay.
But we are looking into those options to see if, they'll be available in the near future.
Ms. Snipes, before you move away from the wipes, are you talking about the IPA cleansing wipes that you use on the electronics? Or you're talking about something that will wipe down tables?
Something that will wipe down the actual tables.
Okay, do we have the wipes for the electronics?
The wipes, the electronic wipes, I'm not quite sure if we have the wipes for the electronic. Mr. Redmond, do? So I don't think we have actual wipes for the electronic. We were using the the process of having them sit and wait and then being sprayed with our disinfectant.
Okay.
Ms.
Thank you.
Knight,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. What did you say the name of the wipes were that we're unable to get?
The ones that are EPA approved, which is the high grade disinfectant of the SARS and COVID-2.
Is there a name for them?
It's a lot of different brands at this time. It's just, that's the type that we are currently looking for. So there are various brands such as like the Clorox, Lysol. Those are the ones that, and then there's some off-brand names ones as well. But we do have a list that's available through our state website. But they have just been, like I said, a back order on those. But I can get you that specific list
That would be great.
at the later time. They have it listed here in the toolkit, if you have access to that as well. But I will get that to you.
So we have ordered them, but they're on back order? Is that?
When we initially ordered them, they were on back order, so we went with a more readily solution, which were the actual disinfectant spray. I worked with Mr. Turner and his team, and so we looked at what was available, and so that's why we went with the actual spray.
And every teacher in the district, they have that.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
And they've already been distributed to the teachers.
That is correct. And the solution has been purchased in order to refill those bottles whenever they do get low.
So I guess my question is, in our last meeting, I'm not sure if the PPE had been taken out to our schools or not. I think you shared with us that it had been.
Yes, ma'am. That has been, those items have been previously delivered.
Okay.
This item, the information that's listed here on this slide were those that are additional than what was provided previously.
So I guess my question is, were the employees aware of it being there? Employees such as custodians, principals,
Yes.
assistant principals?
Yes, yes. The principal actually signed those things out and they were responsible for delivering those items.
And that was done when?
That was done in July.
July.
And then at this time, we hadn't received any, since the schools were closed, we hadn't received any additional requests because we have a survey in which the schools can request additional items.
So we don't have any just readily available for, because you're saying request. So do we have like a stash at the central office or somewhere where we could get those items to our schools if they need it? Because I wouldn't want us to run out.
Yes, ma'am. We do have a stash that is available. So initially when they were sent out, because we didn't know what we were opening, so they were given at least a 2-month supply of those particular items, in addition to the school nurses supplies that the state provided.
Mhm.
Because the state provided also 2-month supply.
Mhm. And so with the material, well, the things that the state gave us, tell me about the chemicals that the state gave us.
So the state did not provide any type of chemicals per se. They provided the actual PPE, which were the face shields, some hand sanitizer, some disposable face masks, as far as the PPE that was provided. Because the PPE and the cleaning things are two separate things. And so the infection control items, we were not, like the materials that we are speaking of, the actual chemical materials, those particular items were not provided by the state. They provided particular PPE items, which is the personal protective equipment.
Okay. And what about the the cotton mask that the state sent out to our schools? How many of those did we receive for our district?
So we received for the district, because we have also since that time received additional items. Give me one moment. We received a total of 1,700 masks, which were 5 per each. And we've received one for each staff member as well as one for each student. One container that included 5.
Okay, one bag, okay.
And so since the time in which we initially gave out the initial allotment, then we received additional masks from a organization that gave us another 5 packs of masks for at least 300 students. And that was a donation.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay. So as far as the disinfectant and cleaning schedule, so we have worked together as a collaborative unit between the maintenance department, the particular schools, as well as our custodians. So the schools have a daily checklist that the custodians have. They also, before school, the restrooms will be cleaned, high touch areas will be sprayed using the Protexis sprayer. And then during school hours, the same will happen as far as the restrooms and the high touch areas. And then after school, all surfaces will be wiped and then sprayed at the end of the day, as well as the restrooms will be cleaned. As far as our bus, before each route, the drivers will complete their pre-trip inspection. They will wipe the driver's areas and open any windows for ventilation. And then after each route, the drivers will wipe their areas as well. And then at the end of the day, the buses at that time will be sprayed using our Protexis sprayer that they have. And then Friday, all buses will be deep cleaned and sprayed. So just wanted to give an update on the Reopening Act of 2021. So as of March 3rd, our plan was all K through 12 as well as pre-K. We will operate under Plan B, utilizing the Strong Schools North Carolina Public Health Toolkit, which was updated on March 4th. And then also remote learning option was available to all students. As far as the Senate Bill 220, which is the Reopening Act, the face-to-face option is given to all K-5, including pre-K, under Plan A. And then also the option to attend face-to-face for 6 through 12 under Plan B. And that's still following the NC Strong Schools Public Health Toolkit. Remote learning would be an option for all students. But at this time, based off of the new act, we can no longer offer just Plan C, as is no longer an option unless there is a safety and health risk. So just giving an update on our registration. So at this time, we have at the elementary school, 110 students who have requested virtual, and 141 students who have requested face-to-face.
Ms. Snipes.
Yes.
Real quick, got a question to ask.
Sure.
As far as the amount of students or how many that I'm looking at on your screen here that are coming back for virtual face-to-face and the building capacity, is our parent and student engagement person there tonight?
Yes, Miss Austin.
Yes.
She is.
Has she? I think I want to hear from her at this point.
Okay.
Did she not go through that? I'm just thinking because the surveys that went out, and I think that's a part of her job description. And as far as the calls and all that went out, is she in? Can she speak to us concerning that?
Sure. Yes,
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Delayed in the back. I'm delayed.
He had to ask a question. Yes.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yes, good evening to everybody.
Good evening.
I apologize.
That's totally all right, Mrs. Austin. I'm just looking at these numbers that are up here. Can you share these with us in detail, what I'm looking at? I mean, as of today or last Friday, you know, before you all left office, I see the numbers there, but can you speak to them? Has anything changed as far as those numbers are concerned? Can you go over that with us according to this screen?
Okay, as of today, I'm looking at the screen. Our numbers, Weldon Elementary School, have 142 that will have chosen to be face-to-face. So it's one off with the elementary school. Virtually 110 students. And we're still at 9 students that we have not received responses from. So we're hoping once the buses start rolling that those students will decide they want to come back to school. Weldon Middle School, my numbers are 96 for face-to-face and 97 for virtual. Again, with 11 students that we have not had the opportunity to contact.
Can you repeat those numbers again? Virtual is 97?
97, that's for Weldon Middle School.
And 94 in person?
Yes, 96 in person.
96 in person. And do you have any that you haven't heard anything from?
11.
11, okay.
Weldon STEM High, we have 62 that are requesting face-to-face, and we have 91 that's virtual, giving us 8 students that we have not received responses from.
You said 62 in person?
Yes, sir.
62 in person. Okay, and 91 you said are virtual?
Yes, sir.
And 8 you haven't heard anything from?
No, sir. We're still trying to reach out to those individuals.
Okay.
Roanoke Valley Early College, we have 30 students that are requesting face-to-face. And we have 81 that's requesting virtual, with only 10 students that we have not had the opportunity to contact. So overall, as a district, we have 44.2% for face-to-face and 50.7% for virtual, with 5% that we don't have not had responses from.
Okay, 42 point in person. 44.
No, sir, 44.2, 44.2.
Okay, I'm trying to write as well, and you said 57.7 virtual.
50.7 virtual.
50, thank you, 50.7 virtual.
And this information, Ms. Robinson has set it up in Power School where we can go in and get the actual numbers out of Power School.
Okay, now, I guess my question also, and thank you for that up-to-date information as far as that is concerned. Have you gotten any calls today to actually adjust after, you know, I guess the data was pulled together, or that's as of Friday, basically?
I have not gotten any calls as of today. No, sir. The last call I received was last Friday.
Okay, all right.
But no calls have come in today.
Thank you so much for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so just wanted to further point out. Yes, ma'am.
I want to go back to the PPE that you talked about quickly. The teachers, I know you said that they were given a bottle of some kind of disinfectant and paper towels. you said that our schools will be deep clean on Fridays, and the, excuse me, the teachers will be given, and that you also said that 3 times a day things
Mhm.
will be clean. So my question is, are we waiting until Friday to do a thorough cleaning, or are the teachers expected to do something during the day? Or I'm just trying to figure out where we are with that, because I'm thinking about especially our middle and high school students where they're exchanging classes, and different classes, the students are coming in and out. So that's a concern as far as them cleaning more than just those couple of times.
Okay, so just to answer the question, so the custodians have been charged to clean those particular, especially the bathrooms, and do the high touch areas for those particular rooms. The teachers are, depending on their comfort level, they can choose to clean their particular areas, but based off of the schedules in which the principals have indicated, they have the option to do that, but it's not a requirement. So they have built-in breaks within their day that the custodial staff will be going in and doing that spot clean in between those particular classes when they are changing classes. So for example, the middle school teachers are actually rotating, so the students are remaining. The elementary is the same. The teachers are actually rotating, the students are remaining. The only building at this time that I am aware of at this moment is the high schools are the ones that are changing classes. So at this time, based off of conversations and collaboration with the maintenance department, we will be getting additional personnel to help support them in that area during their breaks times in which they have already designated within their school day.
You said we're gonna get additional help,
Yes,
and that's with what now?
I said through the maintenance, with the maintenance department.
Going back to the students that Mrs. Terry Austin just reported
Mhm.
on, I just want to make sure that I am correct. I guess the parents and students still have until Wednesday of this week to decide whether they're going to remain virtually or in person?
That was the 16th of that was last Tuesday.
Okay, I thought it was moved since we moved the time when students actually came back to school, the 29th versus the 22nd.
That had not been moved, no, sir.
Oh, okay.
So I just wanted to just highlight, based off of this slide, even with the students that we have coming back, we still have the ability to properly distance, even though our schools, based off of the governor and the Senate General Assembly, to operate under Plan A, we still have the space enough available in order to properly distance at least 6 feet if as long as our numbers do not rise at that particular point. But we do have that ability at this time. That's just the illustration on this particular slide, is to show that even with our numbers, we still have the ability to properly distance, because we're still not at 50% capacity in our school buildings.
Okay, Ms. Snipes, I got another quick question before you move
Sure.
from that. If the deadline for students, parents and students to decide whether the students were going to come back or not was the 16th, which was last Tuesday, then how does Mrs. Terry Austin have updated numbers as of Friday, which was the 19th, that are different from the ones that you put on the screen?
So we have multiple people are filling calls and things, because I know I have principals calling and Ms. Robinson, and she may not be getting information versus I. So that is the reason why they were different. This is just an illustration to show that we, even with our numbers, that the building capacity is where we need to be in order to properly distance if the students are in the building.
Okay, I guess I got another question. If Mrs. Terry Austin is indeed the parent coordinator, student involvement person, so wouldn't the numbers come directly to her anyway?
Some of them would come directly to her, but as people communicate differently, and so we try to share information as best we can, but over the last few weeks, we've just been getting a lot of information coming to us.
Okay, I thought everybody had communicated through that department, which sent it out, and of course, I received several robocalls, you know, Ms. Austin, and emails saying to parents and with the surveys and all. So I wasn't aware that it was coming in to 3 or 4 different departments when it came from that department going out. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, and so just given the instructional schedule, just an update based off of what the principals have provided, the actual instructional schedule, more detail will be followed within the instructional update. But based off of the elementary school, their day jump start will start at 7:55 to 8. Their instructional time will be 8 to 1:30. The lunchtime, which they will have a rotation from 11 to 1:15, and then supplemental support and enrichment from 1:30 to 2, and be dismissed between 2 and 2:30. So the similar schedule based off of the high school, the elementary school, that they will require their students to be in online at least 45 minutes during the instructional time. And the times, as you can see, are similar, except for the delivery of the lunch will still occur from 11:15 to 1 p.m. And then the supplemental support will be from 1:30 to 2. And that is at Weldon Elementary School.
Ms. Snipes, I see that we have an instructional report that is to come later on the
Yes.
agenda. So I see that you have some of that in there now. Is the instructional person there to actually tell us about the instructional part?
So that is going to occur. I'm just giving the schedule. We talked and communicated that I will give the schedule and she will give the specifics of the actual, what's going to take place during that instructional time.
Okay, I guess I'm lost because I don't understand why the instructional person wouldn't do the time and the specifics all in their report. Go on. Okay.
All right. So for the middle school, the same will occur as far as their power up block is from 7:45 to 8. And then as you can see, from 8 to 1 will be the instructional time, and then dismissal from 2 to 2:30. And then a similar time will be for the remote learning students. As far as the high school, their instructional time block will be from 8 to 1:45. Supplemental support will be from 1:45 to 3:15, and then dismissed from 2 to 2:30. And the similar will occur for the remote learning students. And RVAC, their schedule is the similar. Their house is an hour from 8 to 9, and then their instructional time will be from 9 to 2:25, and their dismissal will be at 2:30. And the same will occur for their remote learning schedule. As far as I'm just providing on behalf of Mr. Wooten, as far as our transportation information, that at this time we have a total of 183 students that have requested transportation, and that will need the number of buses will be 12, as well as the number of monitors needed, also 12. And then as far as the updates from the child nutrition, Monday through Thursday will be breakfast and lunch.
Ms. Snipes.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm just really having difficulty. Is the director of child nutrition there?
She is here.
Okay, can we hear from Ms. Garner? I mean,
You sure can.
That's her department.
You sure can.
Because I have some questions for her.
Sure. Good evening.
Ms. Garner,
Yes,
as far as the lunchrooms and the child nutrition is concerned, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the state, didn't DPI require every school district to submit a plan of how, you know, the child nutrition was going to work and how those things were going to take place?
yes, they did.
Okay, have Weldon City Schools submitted a plan for child nutrition?
Yes, I have.
Okay, can you share that with us in detail? What, I guess, what you submitted to DPI for Weldon City School District, how we're gonna operate with child nutrition?
Yes, I will. The school
Thank you.
nutrition reopening plan has been updated to accommodate our face-to-face as well as our virtual scholars. Weldon City Schools Child Nutrition has been providing nutritious meals through the summer food service program since COVID-19. Active school sites have been updated and submitted to DPI technology system to maintain compliance and to continue operations. Our needs for our virtual would be 2 buses at least to continue serving our virtual students. Our virtual student meal, the bus arrive at the time of the school site at 11 a.m. Monday through Thursday. Bus delivery time to students is from 11:10 through 12:30 p.m. Friday meals will be delivered with Thursday meal. Students will receive 2 breakfasts and 2 lunches on Thursday, starting the week after the spring break on Monday, April the 12th, 2021. Any questions on the virtual meals?
So that's Monday through Thursday, of course, with the virtual. Now, will all those buses, they will continue to run on Fridays as far as the meals are concerned, because, you know, we're all looking at remote for Friday. So how will that work on Friday?
Friday meals will be delivered on Thursday for Friday. So on Thursday, all virtual students will receive 2 breakfasts and 2 lunch.
Okay.
Just like we're doing now.
What about the students that are at home? I mean, they're not in school.
That's
that are
the
gonna be
virtual
face-to-face.
students at home.
I know, I meant to say face-to-face, the ones that.
I haven't, I'm getting ready to get to there now. I just want to know if you had questions with the virtual.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay,
Go ahead.
face-to-face student meals. Students will be 6 feet social distance with a mask on coming through the cafeteria serving line to receive their meals from school nutrition employees. Students will be able to eat in the cafeteria dining room with 6 feet social distance marking guidelines in place, or take the meals, to the classroom. Per principal's request. Monday through Thursday at each school site, breakfast and lunch schedule time. On Thursday, school nutrition team, we will have a cart at the exit door at the end of the day. On the cart would be grab and go meal bags. So therefore, they're going to get 5 meals that week. But on Thursday, they're going to get 2 for Friday, 1 for Friday.
So you're saying at the end of the school day, when the students actually exit our buildings, they will get the grab and go bag containing a breakfast and a lunch for Friday?
Exactly.
Okay.
Ms. Garner,
Yes.
the meals that you're saying that the students can either eat in the cafeteria or in their, you said either in their classroom, is that correct?
Yes, whatever the principal prefer.
Okay, will those be bag lunches or will they be the regular tray lunches that you all usually?
All of our meals have to be pre-individual wrapped. It's just like we're doing now. We cannot have any open meals, food items on a tray. Now, they can get a tray if they are eating in the dining room, but it's going to be, each item will be individually wrapped.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And will the students, the time, Mrs. Garner, as far as the students eating lunch, be it in the cafeteria or in the classrooms, as you said, per the principal's request, they'll still have the same time frame, the 30
Yes.
minutes or 35 minutes, whatever it is, as far as the lunch is concerned.
Whatever the principals decide.
Okay. But I'm saying that the allotted time for lunch will remain.
If the principal decided, it will.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope the building administrators will make sure that the children, our students, have the same time for lunch as, you know, they would have. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure they will.
Okay.
Any other questions on child nutrition? You're welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Garner.
You're welcome. And so the last thing in which we have is just a timeline as of this week. As you are aware, the asynchronous learning, May 29th, we start, early release on April 1st, and then Good Friday on the 2nd, and then we're out for spring break. So that is the end of the reopening updates.
Ms.
Knight.
Knight. Okay. Go on.
Go ahead, Ms. K. Who was that? Ms. K. Robinson or Ms. Bird Robinson?
I think it was. Okay, go on, Ms. Bird Robinson.
Okay, all right. So in your reentry plan, Ms. Knights, I did not see anything in regards to if we have suspected cases on campus. What will we do with the children if they get sick during the day or anything? I didn't see anything of that nature, or maybe I overlooked it. But did you share anything with us about that?
So if a student, it wasn't included, but if a student does get sick throughout the day, the school nursing staff has, and we have, all schools have an isolation room in which will be utilized throughout the day. Each school is slightly different as far as their process of getting to that particular room, and for the escorting of those particular students to that room until a parent is available in order to pick that student up. So, but the isolation rooms are up and ready and available at this time. They do have a monitoring sheet in which the staff will be used that will be designated staff members, which each school has, except for RVAC, which they have 3. All other school buildings have 5 people designated for that particular room so that they can rotate in and out in case a student is there all day. But they do have that particular room in order to utilize if the student becomes sick or ill throughout the day.
Is that person or people, have they had any kind of special training to support our students if they have to go to that room?
Yes, they have had individualized training. One training probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and then they had just the last 2 weeks, they have had another refresher training on that particular room, and updated training. Within that training, they were updated on the processes that will occur while a student is in that room, with those monitoring documents as well as the procedures that will happen within that room.
Is there a plan in place for teachers who become ill during the school day or staff that become ill during the school day?
That is, the plan is still the same as the students or the staff. The room is utilized for both. If a teacher or a student is becoming ill within the building.
I'm talking about like coverage for their class.
Oh, for their classroom, yes. The principals, depending on who is sick, the principals will work with their particular staff members and utilize who they have within the building in order to support them in that area.
Okay, so if a teacher and or student is out due to COVID exposure or actually being diagnosed, do we have any pathways that our teachers and students will have to go by in order for them to come back into the school setting?
So the only pathway at this time is the isolation for the 14 days. There's not a requirement for any of those particular individuals to receive a test or a positive test in order to return. So they just have to complete their isolation. Once their isolation period has ended, then they will be allowed to come back into the building as long as they are not exhibiting any symptoms or have a fever within the last 24 hours.
So if a student or parent or teacher, staff member go home for a headache, we know that COVID, that's one of these symptoms. So if someone went home for a headache and they have not been diagnosed with migraines, what does that person do the next day, or that child or that staff member?
So that particular person will need to remain at home and then contact our school nursing staff. Our school nursing staff will follow up with them as they have been doing while our staff has been in the building. So they do follow up with that particular person to ensure and get more information, as we just don't want that information shared with any staff member. So they just need to let someone know that they have a headache. And then at that time, our school health staff will follow up with that individual, either the parent or that staff member. And then from there, make determination and recommendations, as well as either collaborate with the health department if necessary.
So there's no automatic thing. It doesn't sound like there's a plan in place that tells me that if this person is out for a headache or a stomach ache, so there's no pathway that's written that tells that person what the next step is. Sounds like there's nothing in place.
So there is a written plan as far as for our staff members. They have been received that information previously. So if they are not feeling well, then they contact their immediate supervisor and advise that they're not feeling well. And then at that time, the school nursing staff will follow up with that individual staff member. But that staff member will remain out until it is determined that it's not a COVID exposure, or that particular employee has not been exposed to any type of person within 14 days and 6 feet and 15 minutes. And then at that time, that determination will be made whether or not they can return. It's not based off of the guidance of the suspected presumptive guidelines. They have various scenarios on what we can and cannot do, but most of it, they just need to remain home, follow up. We would contact the school health department if necessary to get further support. But in most situations, they will remain home, and then we will follow up based off of those particular questions that we were asked during our symptom screening.
And for a student, you said staff member. What about for a student?
For students, they will do as they normally, if they're not feeling well, they will remain at home. We will have a school sick line that they can call and a form in which they can complete that will be available by the end of this week. That will be available to them so that they'll know they can just call that number. And it would just be like they would in normal situations. If they weren't feeling good, they would remain at home, and then we will have someone follow up with them to see what symptoms or anything in which they're having, as well as ask those particular screening questions.
Can you share that plan with me, please? Or I guess with the board?
Please.
Sure.
Ms. Snipes, quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I want to make sure I'm correct. EC and students with special needs, that is your department, correct?
That's correct.
I noticed in your presentation that we had child nutrition and the parental engagement and instruction in your presentation, but I did not see the department that you work in as far as EC and students with IEPs and special needs students. So what plan is in place to address our students and even the teachers that have to work with our students that have special needs? Because, you know, they may need some physical contact. So what plan is in
Mhm.
place with EC and students with special needs?
So that is the IEP team decision on whether the recommendation for a student to return that's in our self-contained classrooms. So that is based off of IEP team decision based off of their particular needs. But all other students are general ed students first. So like for our students that are in our general ed classrooms, they have the ability to make that decision on whether to come to school or not. But those that have high risk or health concerns, then they have had IEP meetings to make those determinations and have those discussions to put additional supports in place. And at this time, we only have at least 2 students within our self-contained classrooms that are returning to school.
Okay. And I'm asking this because all of this is extremely important with our students re-entering. I would kindly ask each department head, Mrs. Garner and Mrs. Terry Austin and yourself. I think it would be real good if the board members had those written plans sent to us, just so we can be abreast of how our students are entering as far as child nutrition, parental involvement, and student involvement. And even if you have something written down from EC and students with special needs, we need that as board members to have that information tangibly, so we can be just as astute as the department heads that have the responsibility of that. So Dr. Congleton, can you make sure that each department head, the plans that they have in place with the material that each department chair has shared tonight, that that you get that to all of the board members so we can have that as a point of record?
Yes, sir. We'll get
Thank
that.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Banks,
Yes, ma'am.
did I hear you say that you all have held meetings
Based off
to
of,
make sure that our children stay at home? Is that what you're saying?
no, we have held IEP meetings based off of, so the guidance in which the state has provided, which is documented on the information that we have received from our office hours, our EC office hours. So those particular students who are high as far as their health is concerned, to be face-to-face, as far as high risk, they are having IEP meetings to have those conversations. And if necessary, put accommodations in place if the parent decides whether or not that student is to return to school. So that we ensure it is documented within their IEP, as well as if there needed to be a contingency plans, which also the state has given us the opportunity to implement contingency plans for all of the students, so that they have properly discussed that through the IEP team process. So it's not done outside of the IEP team. So I can give an example if you need.
Yes, I certainly need an example,
Okay.
because having an EC background and being a former SPED teacher, I don't know if we're going to go into any legal things with that, because this is the first time I've heard this anywhere, that
Okay.
basically it sounds like we're having meetings. And anyway, go ahead with what you were saying.
Okay. So for example, if we had a student who had multiple disabilities, say for example, had multiple sclerosis, who has a high autoimmune disorder. So we have been charged from the EC State Department to have IEP meetings, to have those discussions about whether or not it's appropriate for that student to come return to school. And if it is, then what do we need to make sure we have in place for that student as well as the staff? So at this time, we have already purchased face shields, particular garments for those individuals that will be in close contact for those students that may need changing or anything of that nature. But that is something that we have been charged through all of the meetings that I have attended, to make sure that we discuss that within the IEP team process, so that everything is documented on the prior written notice, so everyone is clear on what is being done and how it's going to be implemented for that particular child.
Please share that verbiage with me as well.
Sure.
Ms. Snipes,
Yes, ma'am.
I had a few backup questions from some questions that you answered for Ms. Bird Robinson. Have the parents been given like a checklist to do with their child before they prepare them to go to school? So have the temperature, have they been around anyone with COVID? Do the parents have that checklist and also a copy of that sick line so they'll know when to call the sick line and when to keep their child at home?
So at this time, the actual symptom screener has been shared previously on our website. It was just posted, not so much given out to the particular parents. So we will definitely resend that information out on our next correspondence, as well as the sick line infographic has been created and will also be sent as well to all of the parents and be posted on all of our social medias and websites.
Okay.
With that information.
Okay, and we just need to keep in mind that not all of our parents
Correct.
are computer and technology savvy, so they might need to see it visually on paper.
Yes, ma'am.
To make that comment. Have we completed the flyer that was requested in the February 25th meeting to go on the buses for students who may be trying to get on the bus who have not signed up to come to school?
We have not finalized the wording on that document, but it will be completed this week and shared with you before the end of the week.
Okay, and also, have you looked at doing the individual plexiglasses, especially for the elementary school children? They're trifold and they're individual for the desk for the child, and it adds another layer of protection, especially for our little ones.
So I have, what we have ordered as far as the plexiglass, which I think Mr. Turner was also going to share within his particular update, is that we have ordered and they have made those particular devices, the dividers, not so much of the things in which we have currently within the boardrooms, but they have the dividing shields based off of those particular desks or tables that require maybe 2 feet, maybe 2 people within that desk, especially in our elementary school areas, because based off of the state, they are operating under Plan A, which is the minimum social distancing. So we try to put those particular barriers in between them so that to ensure a greater level of safety, even though it is not required per the guidance, but we have purchased those things in order to put them in place for those areas.
Okay, if you have any questions about the trifold, I do know Northampton County is using it with all levels of their students, elementary, middle, and high school. And I think I had one more question. I think you said that all of the elementary and the middle schools will stay in place and the teachers will rotate, or the students will not leave the rooms. Is that correct? That's correct. And that's at today, at this time, based off of what was shared. My question is, we need to make sure that, I guess, the 2 high schools have time for the teachers to sanitize their desks and whatever else, doorknobs or whatever else that needs to be sanitized in between their classes.
Yes, ma'am. So we will monitor those schedules once we receive their final, class to class schedule.
And my last request is, can we get a copy of this presentation from tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ms. Knight, I have a question also. In the case of a student being contracted with the virus and they should have to go home and isolate for however many days, I guess 14 days, will they automatically go back to virtual learning, or what's the plan for that?
So they would temporarily transition to virtual learning if they can. It just depends on if that student is so sick that they can't do any particular work, because their wellness is the utmost important. So if they are well enough in order to participate in virtual learning, then they will have that option to do so. And then once their quarantine is over, they will have the option to return back to school. But if they are not able to participate in virtual learning, we want to make sure they get healthy first before they even try to worry about any of their assignments.
Okay. And going back on your slides, when you were presenting with the different schools, I know that you said that one of them would be, they'll be online for at least 45 minutes each. Is that each block or?
Yes, ma'am, each block. That's for the elementary school.
So, but each block, when will the schedule come out for that? So how would you know what time the block, the schedule is for the block, for each individual block?
The principals will be sending that information out. I'm not quite sure as far as the absolute deadline that they will be sending that out, but I know it would definitely be before the end of this week.
Okay.
Ms. Snipes,
Yes, ma'am.
what are we doing for our students that are 504 and LEP?
The 504 students as well as our LEP students, are given those same options that we have previously just discussed as far as coming face-to-face or not. We do know that based off of the guidance, they have an option to, return since our schedule is a 4-day-a-week schedule. So they have the option to attend 4 days a week. And those particular students that we have, which is a handful, they only require at this time accommodations and no other needs at this moment. But if anything changes, the counselors would definitely let us know.
So what are we doing for our students that are receiving PT, OT, speech, all that? If you all are having a meeting for the students to stay at home, what kind of service, how are we providing those services that they need?
So depending on, especially for those in our self-contained environment, so if the child parent has requested for them to come face-to-face, we're to the greatest extent possible going to also provide their related services also face-to-face. And those that are virtual, we will still be providing those particular services virtually as we are currently doing at this time.
Any other questions? All right. If not, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank the department heads for being ready to give us information tonight as well. All right, building and grounds report. Is Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Next, what we're trying to do is get ready to open school back up. We just trying to get things in place we need. And we just trying to get it done. I'm glad to see the kids come back. And we're basically just trying to get stuff done from what they're gonna need when they come back. So we've been really trying to get it done, but I've got a couple of things I'd like to show you. I want to slide tonight for our roofs. You said show you some pictures last time. We got a few because I know we got a lot going on tonight, but I want to show you these right here real quick. The first two right there are the ones from the elementary. You see those little lines coming across the top? That's actually the roof drop. The water's pouring in every one of those spots right now. And the roof's deteriorated that much. Basically, I got some prices on fix those two sections. It's got $15,000 per section. So it's about 30 grand to fix those sections right now. But our warranties on these roofs, there's really no warranty, it's gone. These companies have gone out of business. You got a manufacturer's warranty, but it's only warranty for 20 years. They're already 14 years old. They want to prorate it. Then you got to find somebody who's going to fix it by the time they prorate it. So you're right back to the problem you can't get them fixed unless we go back and do the whole roof again. We got two more slides I'd like to show you at the high school. That big hump you see right there in the middle of the roof, that is on top of the concession stand in the gym. That's a blister. You're looking at that's probably about a 21-year-old roof. Got one more slide. That's what they do when they bust. All the water problem in the high school, in the locker rooms, and that section in the front, that's where it comes from. The water's pouring those little slots right there. They've got nowhere to go. This is a section we're gonna have to look at this year as far as getting the roof fixed. If the county, like a special thing from the county, we definitely look at those sections right there. Those other three pictures, go back to those again. If you look at the one at the very bottom down there, that's the lower section of the high school. That's what that looks. That's what they call coal tar pitch. There's little lines in there. That's actually the roof drop. So what's gonna happen is just in deteriorated because that roof's 24 years old now. Water's got nowhere to go. So when we start hearing they got water coming in, this is your reasons why. But the elementary really disappoints me because we didn't even get 20 years out of those roofs. So that really, really bothers me. But like I told y'all before, these reputable people, when you see what they do somewhere else in another district, go back and find what they did. But these companies are going out of business. You can't even find them. So the material company's still in business, but it's not going to do us good when they prorate it. So you're right back to a whole nother roof again. So I say from now on, we need to find somebody who's reputable. Check them out, see what they did somewhere else, and find out what their warranty is, how they did somewhere else 10 years down the road. They're going to give us a 20-year warranty, that's all you're going to get, especially on a flat roof. I wish we had pitch roofs, but we don't. One place you got is the middle school, and believe it or not, that leaks too. That's been going on since day one. You got problems with rib block roof on that. Those companies went out of business. So roofs are a problem here in Western City Schools because roof leaks, you got a problem everywhere. You got water in the building, and then I'm not listening to that M word, and I don't want to hear that word because I don't want that in the building. So, but when your roof leaks, you got problems. So we're going to talk about that in the next couple of weeks, see if we can figure out what we're going to do on that, because I don't know what the county commissioners have said we can do. Hopefully we can go to the next direction and do what needs to be done. And basically what's going on is what you see right now for basically across the district, besides the middle school, because that's a metal roof, but we still got problems there with some expansion joints because the way the roof is put on, but that company went out of business too. So what do? We just have to fall back through. We can figure out how we can get it fixed. Hopefully the county commissioners will help us out. Basically, what we like to see we still got going on is we put the sneeze guards up places right now. We should finish tomorrow, like in the lunchroom. So if y'all want to look at those, turn out real nice. And we actually done classrooms. Y'all talking about classrooms a while ago. Now we have done the pre-K. We actually used all the round desks, got one divider in between them. Computer labs, what we did on those was they got one at every slot. But the one in the computer lab at the high school has got the wooden desk. We put one on every one of those. But they're still gonna go two computers, one person. So you got the distance in between it. Elementary classrooms, the way I understand it, they're gonna distance them out far enough. The desk is gonna keep them away, but sneeze guards, we don't have them for all desks. We just got them for the basic big tables. And basically what we had to do, we had to have those made. Everybody would try to find if we couldn't get the little small ones for that. So we actually had NC Glass to make those. And they've done a good job too. They look really nice. But we should finish those up tomorrow after lunch. And basically, that's all we got going on. Is there any questions?
Questions for Mr. Turner?
Mr. Turner, this is Kimberly Robinson. Could any of that damage be from weather?
No, ma'am, that's just from wear. You're looking at it now. That one at the high school was some time. You're looking at 21 years ago on that roof right there. It didn't get replaced in the last section when we done it. That section got overlooked. When we done the big section, that section got overlooked because the money ran out. And last thing got to the stage, we're gonna have to do something with that section. You saw how bad it was. But basically, you won't know the really truth. You get the same problem everywhere. It's just if this doesn't come to a stage, we're going to have to figure which direction we need to go.
So is this because of not upkeeping or just wear and tear in the age of the roof?
Well, both, and the materials that was used. My opinion is some of it was material loss. I mean, I don't want to repeat how much we spent on that roof because I wrote for the board to sit on paper.
Okay.
That was a lot of money we spent on that roof at the elementary, and it's only lasted 14 years. Now, is that our lawyer on the screen there?
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I looked through all my paperwork, trying to find the warranty drops on those companies.
Right.
I found 3 with the warranty drops. And it just says materials, then you got a drop period in there that's not going to cover anything as far as the material of the age. So is there anything we forget on that?
Yeah, can you give me a call this week and let's talk about it? I mean, your assessment of roofing is pretty accurate. I mean, these are not the easiest or the best cases. We actually We've got one right now and another. I mean, it seems like we deal with this all across the state. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, give me a call. Let's see if we can sort through what the options are. You are generally correct, though, that by the time you prorate some of these roofs, especially after you get kind of over the 10-year mark, the warranty is not as useful as one might think. But yeah, let's talk it through. And some of those photos look pretty bad though. So let's talk it through and see if we can find a way to get you some help there.
You're a good man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate all the stuff you've done for me in the last 15 years too.
No, it's always, your work's important because, keeping
I'm getting
the
a little
schools,
gray.
that's tough work. But yeah, give me a call. I'll be happy to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Turner,
Yes, ma'am.
in our last meeting, you said something about sharing some pictures with us.
It's over there.
That's what I just showed.
Okay.
Is
let
the
me
roof
ask my
drops.
question, please.
Have you
What I
talked
was
to the homeowner?
asking is that, like I said, you said there were some pictures that you were going to share with us prior to the meeting. The pictures that you showed, are those the only ones you were talking about? Because we did have some questions about the heating and air as well.
No, ma'am, but date on the heating, I've got lots of stuff on those too, but I just didn't want to prolong it tonight because I knew what was going on for us trying to get reopened. And I'd be glad to share pictures with all of y'all and show you every little thing. I take pictures, of everything that I do. When I repair it, I show you what's going on before and after too. For the last 6 years, I can tell you exactly what I fixed and what's going on with it right now too. But we've got valve problems at the middle school right now, and I just priced them at Erie the other day. They're $1,500 a piece, and we need 26 of them. I would love to show you the pictures of those, but I don't have them tonight. I need to make y'all just a little run and show all the board members what they look like, and I actually do a little brochure on it and actually give them to you so you can actually look at them physically, but I had to look at them on the screen. It's something you actually look at on paper. So whatever you would like me to do, I'd be glad to do it.
Both.
No problem.
Yeah, give it to us, and like you're talking about tangibly, but the presentation like you have tonight, so when we're in open session, the community can see what we're up against.
Exactly. I probably got over 200 pictures on my computer in the back, stuff we just took. So over the period of time, so I'd be glad to make some up for y'all to look at and I show you and write what it is, what you're looking at when you see it and where it's at and what it does. Just try to explain to you what the needs are for that part.
And Mr. Turner, if you could hastily get that to us, and I say that because we're in the budget season, and it would be nice, budgeting, especially if we can do better on capital outlay as far as that is concerned with, when we get our budget straight.
Yes. I do not believe it's all not about that. Steve's going to just fail. That's the issue you're gonna have. We start putting on a little bit of desk, we get it all in school. What just happened to that one? If those things not screwed to the desk, you saw how quick that thing broke. The ones that we got from NC Glass will not do that. It's Lexan we got from NC Glass. They can actually bump them in the floor. It will not bust all the pieces like that.
Good.
We probably paid much. That's my feelings what they charge for these things.
Say again, you say we probably paid what?
We probably paid what, $25 for those little things?
I don't remember what they paid.
And it's just hard to find, period. But we use Lexan at the high school and elementary. If y'all ride down and look at them, you'll see the difference. And they're actually a 1/4 inch thick. And you can actually shake them, drop them, and they would never do that. Make long story short, we figured that was gonna happen. So we actually got those from NC Glass and they made them for us. And I'll have pictures of that too. I was gonna do it today and I didn't have time to get back to put it on the screen. So I've got pictures of the ones we're already done. Like in the pre-K, big round desk, we have a huge one in the middle that divides the two. So they got plenty of room in between. If they've done that, they still wouldn't break it. So.
Okay.
So and I apologize for that. We got enough words. I'll be breaking them tonight.
Exactly. Mr. Turner, I have one final question.
Yes, sir.
Want to make sure that all of our administrators have complete access to their buildings. Are all of our principals straight as far as accessing the buildings, especially with what is going on? complete access to their campuses.
I took care of that. And one quick issue to you real quick. The high school, we have door locks with house locks on, they're not like commercial grade locks. Over the last 10 years, they got overlooked. They wouldn't purchase them. We didn't have the money at the time because a commercial lock is $185. Some of them are $230, but they're guaranteed for life. You never have to replace it. Principal has got 9 keys right now just to get in and out of that spot. She's got to go because of these house locks. We actually got house locks on some of our classrooms, but the last crew administration just fell under the rocks. But I've got in my hand right here, the Dr. Collins got 2 that the quote to fix what's over there right now to get back to 2 keys. That was the whole purpose of us staying under the best door lock and security wise. Fix everything at the high school that I know right now is under a house lock, and including the big doors in the weight room. Sounds like a lot of money, but you talking about these are commercial stuff that if we have to replace, they give us a free one. It's $8,100 to get him back to 2 keys again. The poor man's gonna have 8 keys just to keep up with to go from point A to point B on those back classrooms because they are house locked. We done those additions in those rooms. They just didn't want to purchase the commercial door lock. And I got 3 classrooms in the hallway that's got house locks on them. We definitely need to get those changed. Something about time to talk about it, but we're gonna just that figure which ones we can do, which ones we can't do. But I still got everybody we can get in that far as the keys and locks, high school included, elementary, middle school. I haven't nobody saying that not having what they need to get in and out. And if they do, all they got to do is send me a work order. There's no issue cutting the key. Besides the ones at the high school, because they're half speeds, I can't even cut those. I have to go to Walmart or Lowe's or Halifax Farm Supply because they're house door locks. I mean, you know, this is a school. We need commercial stuff on that. You and Dr. Conklin talked about that too. Now, I know it's a money issue, but it comes to a point in time, you're going to start stepping and taking care of these things that, like we talked before. I hope we get a remodel. Now we're getting back to now, this needs to be done too, if we don't get a remodel. Small things need to be done too, especially when it comes to security. In my opinion, door locks is one of the main things. Let's say if we had a lockdown, I got 3 classrooms with a house lock, you can pick it off with your foot. Commercial lock, you would never get it off of there. So, just want to let you know what was going on. And when it comes to telling that getting keys and stuff, all they get is send us a work order. No issue, we'll cut it soon as they ask us. And that was kind of the issue. Nobody told us what was going on for us. I have no keys. And then when I got older, he found out how many keys he had to have too. Because another issue is every time somebody comes and goes, we're gonna get these keys back. That is a huge issue. That's something we talk about too, because we got keys floating out there now. I know for a fact that we don't like anything in our system that seems to disappear. When people lose them, then I got to cut more keys for them. But that don't ever get brought up. But in my opinion, is you just blocked all your security right at the door. Where is the key at? We talked about one time to start charging them for the keys if they don't turn them in. At the end of the year, if somebody does move on, that's the ones that we're losing. I'm gonna give you a quick example, and then I'm gonna be quiet. We had one of the PE teachers a long time ago. She lost 3 sets to the gym. 3 sets now. When she left, I still didn't get them back. So.
Now I ask the question, Mr. Turner.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Ms. Jenkins.
These keys where you are talking about, and you put on what you put on to each school, right? To order. Do you keep up with who have these keys or who you get them to? Who is responsible for keeping up with the keys?
When the keys have to be cut, it comes from the principal. And then another issue is you got somebody asking for these keys that don't need to be asking for them. You know, you got certain ones that think they're supposed to have a key. They're supposed to got keys, I don't know how they got them, but they got them. And that is true. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, maybe about 4 years ago, we've done some rekeying everywhere and changed the coils out. Now, we just might change the coils now. We go back to a key that we can control. And that's what particularly at the high school. But we still didn't change the ones with house locks. By the time I changed all the coils out, we were still talking about, it was close to $10,000 just for the coils. And now we're right back to where we started from again. No control. And that's one thing we're gonna start doing too. When we start cutting keys, it's gonna have to come from the principal. You'd be surprised how many folks that walk by me and ask me for a key, but I want to give it to them, especially, which I know where it might be going, so. But you're right, we need to know where these keys are going.
Well, what I'm gonna ask you, you give them to the principals, right?
Mhm.
So that means they are supposed to be responsible
Yes, ma'am.
for whoever that they give those keys to,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. And then when them people leave, they're supposed to get those keys back. Just like the PE teacher, nobody never got her keys back. And I ain't saying this to be disrespectful. Somehow they went in somebody else's hands. That's just, some people's got keys, I don't know how they got it, somebody can figure it out. So, and that's coming from the PE side. So the board may decide to figure out who does get keys. What coach gets keys, what coach don't get keys, who gets the key and who's got the key, and you know who's got it. Because now you're talking about security again. I'm real hard on security because we have been lucky we ain't had any problems anywhere across the world, somebody breaking into one of these schools and causing a problem. And I hope to God that never happens, but I don't know where these keys are. They're gone. Someone's got them. And I thought Dr. Conger, he said the same thing. That's something we need to have control of.
Mr. Turner, excuse me, you're rubbing across the microphone on the podium with your coat, and I can't. It's hard to hear what you're saying.
I'm sorry. But we do need to control back to our keys so we know who's going to come. Who's in these buildings, who's in these buildings. So, make a long story short, we do need to start tracking that a whole lot better than what we have been. And please, I hope we get a remodel to do all this. Probably have to do is all that will be changed completely out. But right now, y'all believe it or not, we got locks at the high school right now, 30 years old, nothing changed. The only thing we do is change the core in them. That's how liable they are. And then we get back to the ones with the door locks. I get back to the issue of the time we've done it, they didn't want to purchase the commercial door lock. So now I'm stuck with a house lock. So I say it is an issue. It's something we can't get under control of. Once that principal and who else, like Dr. Conger says, who gets the key, who don't get the key, we know where it went to. A big issue, like Ms. Jenkins talking about, is if that key gets gone, they give to one of their friends. And you got somebody's got a key over there, don't need that key. Which I can't prove that, but some got keys, I don't know how to get them, I can tell you that. And I don't say how to get them. And that's seriously, I say, but I can't prove it one way, but I know they got the key down, like some of the doors, I don't know how to get them. So, and that is getting back to as far as coaches' sides. That's something we need to work on. Any more questions?
Any more questions for Mr. Turner?
No.
All right. If not, thank you so much.
Thank you too, and looking forward to seeing when we go back to school. Appreciate it.
All right. All right. We're ready this time for our instructional report. Okay, who is doing that? Who is that?
Pittman Martin.
Mrs. Martin, all right.
Okay, so good evening, board chair, board members, Dr.
Good evening.
Covington, and all in attendance. My name is Chrissy Martin, and I will, thank you, give the instructional report for March. So I want to first start with some good news, and I probably should have said great news, but two of our students, our juniors at Roanoke Valley Early College, were selected for North Carolina Governor's School. One is Shakayla Campbell, and that's in the area of mathematics, and Austin Reeves in the area of social studies. So we are extremely proud of them, and this is the first time in recent history anyway that we've had two students selected from our district. And also we have 4 scholarships for teachers to attend the Advanced Placement Summer Institute. So I've already spoken with the principals at RVEC in the high school, and they're submitting names of students that they, not students, I'm sorry, teachers that they recommend for those scholarships. So that's our good news. Okay, and this is our testing and accountability report. So our K-2 math assessments will be administered after spring break. The copies were provided for K-1 teachers at the elementary school. Ms. Akila Robinson took those there, and the online assessments will be administered for grade 2. The teachers have the option of using the assessment directly from DPI, adapting that particular assessment, or creating their own assessment. As far as the beginning of grade assessment, for 3rd grade, we had 34 out of 43 students to test. Juniors who took the ACT at Arvette, we had 31 out of 32 to test. And at the high school, we had 21 out of 39 students to take that test. And we'll also have the pre-ACT at both the high school and the early college on April 22nd, 2021. Okay, attendance. So we sort of alluded to this earlier. We will have students who are in attendance on site and off site. So students will either be marked present on site, present off site, or absent. Students will be marked present if, and these are the conditions, if they attend school face-to-face, if they're logged in for virtual instruction, or even if they do not log in for virtual instruction, but they submit their assignments by the designated time. Also, students who choose in-person instruction will have 3 flexible learning days. So to be counted present, the students will have to, on these flexible learning days, the students will have to participate in virtual learning or submit daily assignments by the designated time. After those 3 flex days, students will be marked absent. However, exceptions will be at the discretion of school administration. Okay, so this is, before I get into what we're doing, the curriculum and instruction team consists of several members, and they are listed, Mrs. Terry Austin, Ms. Robin Davis, me, Mr. Thomas Redmond, Ms. Akila Robinson, Ms. Natasha Lynn Snipes, and Ms. Sabernia Turner. Okay, so what are we doing to support teachers? So the first thing we're doing is mentoring. We have 3 district mentors, and that's Ms. Anissa Robinson. She serves as a mentor at the elementary school as well as Arvette. We have Ms. Crystal Flood, and she serves as a mentor at the middle school. And we have Mrs. Sonia Pierce, and she serves as a mentor at the high school. We also have 10 teachers who are on the service list who receive direct and one-on-one instruction from instructional coaches at East Carolina University. And lastly, we were able to get 2 additional mentors with CARES Act funds. Professional development. Again, this is also what we're doing to support the teachers. On March 5th, we had MAP Accelerator training, and that's through NWEA and Khan Academy. They have a partnership, and it's used as a MAP instructional tool. We also had Promethean board training, and if you're in the boardroom, that's the actual board we're using, the Promethean board. And with the Promethean board, we also had webcams. Mr. Redmond will talk about that briefly. And that training was provided by the Technology Advisory Council. The hybrid learning training sponsored by East Carolina University, and that was for all teachers. So best strategies for teaching students concurrently, so face-to-face and in a virtual setting. On the 19th, we had 2 consecutive 1-hour Edgenuity sessions. Previously, we used Edgenuity for credit recovery at the high school, but more recently, we haven't been fully using or utilizing Edgenuity. So we are extending that to other teachers or other students even that aren't trying to, recover their credits, but just as standards-based learning opportunities. We'll have another Edgenuity training on the 26th, and that'll be about customizing content. And on the 26th, Mrs. Austin talked about this at the last board meeting, but we had some donations from Tech Terra Education based in Durham, North Carolina. And this institution deals with STEM literacy, and they also made a generous donation to Weldon City Schools. So last week, the principals picked those items up, and we are ready for our training on the 26th. So hopefully they'll be able to use those and utilize it for our students. In addition to our district-led or district-sponsored PD, we also have some in-house training being provided at most schools. Tomorrow at the middle school, Mrs. Crystal Flood is going to do Tech Tools 101, I believe. So she's going to do that for the middle school staff. Okay.
So good evening, everybody. I just want a quick update from technology and how we've been working with the curriculum department to help with remote and face-to-face instruction. As you see in the picture, these are two different times that we actually did some training with the Promethean boards, and I'll kind of explain that. On the left side, that's when we did our district-wide PD, which lasted an hour. I think it went well. I would say with the curriculum and the technology department, I mean, we're pretty much one department. We all work good together. We work well together to try to ensure that we assist the teachers with whatever they need, especially during this digital time. So I would say that PD, we're trying to build a catalog technology PD for our. Now on the right side, that's just a picture of me working with one of our teachers, trying to explain how to use this particular device with in-person or face-to-face and remote learning. This I would say graph or these numbers that we have here, this is just information to provide to the board to let you know that we actually have provided this setup for every teacher in the district. Now, you may go to the elementary school and say, well, they have more teachers than what the board showed here. Now, they also already had an updated LCD panel, which is made by a different brand. We also provided HD cameras or webcams for each board. The board is also, not only is it just a regular smart interactive board, but it's also a Chromebox, which could definitely reflect how the students are learning because they are using Chromebooks. That's the device of choice for our students. So again, this is just some information. We definitely have been working really hard to provide all updated technology for our district. And I personally was happy to say, and I think everybody can agree with me that works here, I feel as though we're 21st century technology district across the board. I mean, we have provided devices for all our students, and we're steady bringing in new devices to set up sustainability plans so that, let's just say 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now, we are still in the running with all of our districts and our surrounding districts. So I personally want to say thank you to all my colleagues, because honestly, the technology, we couldn't did it without them. This has been a lot of work for us. So I just wanted to, talk a little bit about that. Again, we're definitely assisting all our students, staff with anything. They can call us, email us. We have a help desk that we work with. We're in the schools, and everybody can tell you I'm hardly even in my office. We're in the schools every day. So if you have any questions, I'm here. So yeah, we'll turn it back over.
Thank you, Mr. Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Rick.
Thank you. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, we sent out a survey to the instructional leaders at each school to collect some information, and this is good for planning for us. Mr. Red, you already clicked on it? Okay. Oh, you can get the date. It's the wrong one. Close it. Okay, so it's okay. It's summarized. So this has been summarized. Basically, we wanted to see what the needs were at each school. And so this is basically, it's in no particular order, but this is what the different schools have said that they've needed. And so in some instances, they may have been merged together if they were similar. And I won't read them to you, but I will say that a lot of the needs, the good thing is that we're either doing it now or we have provided the training. As I referenced earlier, we do have a partnership with East Carolina University, and we meet after every session so that they can get an idea of what the next session needs to cover. In addition to that, each teacher completes a survey at the end of the teacher talk. So that means that they're collecting data from the teachers as well regarding what they need. At our last leadership meeting, we talked to the administrators, and at some point, they're actually going to collaborate. And if, let's say, one school is doing a PD on unpacking standards, then they'll invite another school, but of course, that will be in a virtual setting. Okay, and Mrs. Austin? Good evening again this afternoon, everybody, with all due respect. We've talked about the things that we're trying to do in order to help our students with learning. At this time, we have students that are behind. So we just want to, not necessarily behind, but we know it's a learning curve that's going on. I want to make sure I use the right terminology. So in questions about the GEARS Act grant that we have received, which is a part of the governor's emergency relief funding for student support, these funds can only be used on students. So after collaboratively working together as a team, getting feedback, looking at our needs assessments, we chose to go with North Carolina Education Corps. We received 4 tutors from NC Ed Corps, and these are funded through the GEARS Act funding. Also, we will be doing a site visit on Tuesday, March 20th. They're gonna come out, and basically, if you're familiar with Ed Corps, it's new. So they want to kind of see how it's working. Has this been beneficial to our district? So I'm looking forward to that visit on the 20th. I've had the phone call already in preparation for the visit, but we'll also do that as well.
Ms. Austin,
Yes, ma'am.
March 20th?
23rd. I'm sorry, we put the 23rd, March 23rd. Thank you, Ms. Hale. And Ms. Martin. My team member got my back here. She was tapping. And also it provides a support specialist through the support. That's the second part of the GEARS Act. And that's an individual that we have in place now that is required to work with grades 3 through 12. So that person will be able to float between elementary, middle, and high school and providing additional student support. And I think we've already went over the school engagement piece, but we have been, myself and the team and all of us have been working diligently, reaching out to parents. I've been working a lot with our McKinney-Vento population, making sure that they receive this information, making phone calls and actually keying in information. So that's why when I show you, we had 736 actual applications completed, but they were duplicates. Okay, because we don't have them. I wanted you to know that that's how many, if you look in the system, you're gonna see. And we ran through, it was a lot to have to go through it. Ms. Robinson and myself both. I was going through it at first and they couldn't figure out why Terry was struggling. I was struggling. And I mean, really, and I'm thankful that my colleague came up and said, what's going on? So once she got involved, we even had parents that maybe, you start filling out forms and you forget what grade junior's in, and we were putting junior in the wrong grade. So we also had to go back to make sure. So thankful that we've gotten that straight, and all of the numbers are keyed inside of the Power School, and accessible for transportation, child nutrition, and everyone to know the status and the preference, the learner's preference of the students to return. Mrs. Austin, and questions or comments?
Questions from board members?
I have a question. This is for, I guess, Mr. Redmond, I guess. Talking about, I don't think we touched on that tonight, but I think we had. Talking about what we're using when our students are coming in to scan, take their temperatures. Do we have, I remember someone asking, but did we ever get a dollar amount on that?
Go ahead. So I think Dr. Congleton actually sent that information out. I can speak on it roughly. I don't want to tell you the exact number because I don't want to give any wrong information. But if we need to resend it again, I can do so. But if you would like for me, I can elaborate on it, but I don't want to tell you that that's the actual number, but I can give you a ballpark amount.
I'd rather have the accurate information.
Okay, so 2,300. Approximately, yes, sir. But I could resend it out to you to give you the correct information.
Thank you. And I guess I should also ask about the research of it. I mean, did we do a lot of researching to see what was most appropriate for our students? Because you said that we have one for every school. Did you say what are that?
So we have one at every school currently. I did do some extensive research. I also did several demos. I've reached out to other school districts to see what they had, to see what the best fit was for our school district. Now, the issue with anything that we use, I would say digitally, especially from a thermal scanning or any type of scanning, is the percent of error. So when we did do our demos, we thoroughly checked to make sure that we got the best option that could calibrate to the closest temperature so that we're not documenting anything that is misleading, if you could say. But we definitely did the research on it before we actually purchased it. Yes, sir. So every school has one currently.
Any other questions?
I have a question, 2 questions for Ms. Pittman Martin. Have you made any decisions or looked at or done any surveys for an EOC or EOG boot camp that could be held on Saturdays closer to testing time to kind of give out your test taking skills and just like a reboot, get them ready for the test?
No, we haven't. We have talked about remediation time built into the schedule, but nothing on a Saturday or boot camp. Not yet.
Okay, I know that they do benefit a lot. I have participated in some when I was teaching, and also I taught AP classes for high school as well. What's your rationale and what is the rationale for AP to be offered at the early college when the goal is for them to receive a degree, an associate's degree, and they need to take those higher level courses there at the community college?
So we do understand that the students are on track to receive the Associate's of Arts degree. However, we do want to provide as many opportunities as we can for our students, so as not to limit them. So some of the students may actually receive their associate's degree, and in some instances, unfortunately, they don't receive those associate's degree. So we want to ensure that the students have multiple opportunities to be successful with courses that could transfer to college credit if they attend, and hopefully they will, a 4-year university.
Okay. And did you say that those trainings, you have money for those now?
Well, we're actually being provided scholarships. So each principal has submitted names, and then we're going to look at the interest. So they presented it to their staff members, and they got teachers who were interested. So we'll look at that depending on the number of teachers that we receive or recommendations, and then we'll use some data that we've received to make a final decision on who will actually receive those scholarships. We, are thinking 2 and 2, but it'll be determined later once everyone has submitted the names of the teachers.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other questions? Oh, go right ahead.
Ms. Pittman Martin?
Yes.
CDM. Do we have any students that participated in that this year?
No, we don't have any students who participated in credit by demonstrated mastery, not this year.
Any other question?
No.
If not, very good. Thank you so much, Mrs.
Thank
Martin
you.
and
Thank you.
Mrs. Austin and Mr. Redmond. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to the financial reports.
Good evening to everyone.
Evening.
Our monthly financial report, starting with current local funds, 8. Beginning revenues is $662,537.28. Total deposit for the month was $55,224.90. Bringing the year-to-date total to $717,762.18. Beginning expenditures is $708,685.29. Total expenditures for the month was $51,990.88. Bringing the year-to-date total to $760,676.17, giving us a net result for the year as of February the 28th, 2021 of a negative $42,913.99, bringing the unobligated fund balance to $337,951.88.
Ms. Campbell,
Yes, sir.
the net result for the year, the
Mhm.
42,913.99, what is that a result of?
We've received less revenues than what we spent more than what we received. We still have some like Cater, maybe a month behind in their reimbursements. Sales tax, they always run maybe 2 months behind before we get those in every month.
Okay.
So the revenues, the expenditures is outweighing our revenues currently at this time.
Okay. I was hoping that problem would have been eradicated with as many times as you have said something.
I have asked several times about it, and the answer that I always get that it is normal to be 2 months behind. So I don't know what can be done to fix that.
Thank you.
Current expense. Beginning revenue is $1,570,790.27. Total deposit for the month is $237,029.17, bringing our year-to-date total to $1,807,819.44. Beginning expenditures is $910,245.82. Total expenditures for the month is $142,506.47. Bringing the year-to-date total, to $1,052,752.29, giving us a net result for the year as of February the 28th, 2021 of $755,067.15, bringing our unobligated fund balance as of February 28th of $1,625,354.15.
Ms. Campbell, real
Yes,
quick,
sir.
before we move from there, what did we go over with supplies and materials for last month?
We did not go over in supplies and material. Anytime that you see a red up on an expenditure, basically what that means, you received either a refund or a credit on an invoice. In this particular case, if you remember, we have a contract with Department of Public Instruction for the child nutrition. And there are expenditures where we get reimbursed when we pay their staff. And if they have supplies and material, they may cross over within the months when they reimburse us. So it takes the overall in a negative. I mean, it gives us a credit. So this is a good credit.
Okay. Could you do me a big favor on the report, because both of them are in red? Maybe behind in the expenditure, can you put a plus sign to maybe indicate, that it's a credit, so it'll be a whole lot easier to differentiate? I mean, can you put some type of notation?
That's why I have the brackets. The brackets means that it is a credit.
Okay.
Yeah, the brackets means that it's a credit.
And then when I look at the the report that you just gave, see, that's in the brackets as well, but that's a negative.
That means that's a deduction. Yeah, that's in the year to date, but when it's up under the expenditures that's in the bracket, it means it's a credit.
Right, that's why I'm asking, because both
Well,
of them.
then what I can do is put, for the net result, I can put, gain or loss beside it in that particular column.
Yeah, just some
Okay.
indicator. Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Give me a minute, I'm making a note so I won't forget.
That's fine.
Okay, capital outlay. Beginning revenue is $250,435.62. Total deposit for the month was $10,939.82. Bringing year-to-date total $266,375.44. Beginning expenditures, $115,391.97. Total expenditure for the month was $12,790.50. Bringing year-to-date total to $128,182.47. Giving us a net result for the year, $138,192.97. Bringing our unobligated fund balance to $592,572.97. Child nutrition, excuse me. Beginning revenue is $345,175.50. Total deposit for the month is $45,592.67. Bringing year-to-date total to $390,768.17. Beginning expenditures $332,202.90. Total expenditures for the month is $47,754.84. Bringing the year-to-date total to $379,957.74. Giving us a net result for the year of $10,810.43. Bringing the unobligated fund balance as of February 28th for 2021 to $273,816.43. And as you can see, as of February, everything is in balance and we're adding to the fund balance, except for right now with local fund 8.
Are there any questions?
Yes,
Okay,
Ms. Campbell, in January, we were told that there was a deficit in our budget. And I just need to know where that is, why did it come about, and where is it now? And
Well, first of all, I don't know who told you we had a deficit in our budget because we do not have a deficit.
Superintendent.
It's not a deficit. When we do the restart budget, in late December, prior to the Christmas break, the state issued, we have 3 schools that is restart. And we have to take our total state budget and convert it to our restart allocation. Well, with the restart allocation, because our ADM has increased, our restart allocation had decreased. So we had to change. At the time I worked on limited scope audit figures, I was running short in my restart budget. And as I shared with the superintendent, that I had to find a way to move some people out of restart so that local would not have to pick them up. So it really wasn't a deficit. It was just a matter of making sure I had enough money to cover the staff in restart. Last school year, we received like $4.6 million for plus in restart. This year, we only see 3 point something this school year. So we had the same staff as we had last school year. So I had to make some accommodation to move people out. I have been working closely with Dr. Collington and moving people from one fund to another fund where I had excess funds in. As an example, I moved 2 CTE teachers out of Restart and moving into 13 to help cut the cost down. And I was able to move their salary for the entire year. So I'm continuing to work on that to make sure that that particular PRC does not go into negative at the end of the year.
What is 13?
CTE, vocational education.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
I think my question, part of my question was answered, but I still have another question regarding that. So is it that our numbers went down? What's the reason for the deficit? Why we didn't get as much money as we did?
Our student enrollment went decline.
So
Student enrollment declined, but staff stayed the same.
So we should have had some cuts.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
You're
Ms.
welcome.
I appreciate that. I'm not confused anymore, I don't think.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem.
Any other questions?
No.
All right. Okay, moving
Brother
on.
Sykes,
Yes,
the amendments were supposed to have been moved up. Up under reports, financial reports.
it's there. That's next.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just making sure we don't have any more questions as far as the monthly financial statement.
Okay.
I heard no in the boardroom. Do we have any more for those online? All right, if not, we'll move into the amendments for discussion and action.
So I guess my question is, how do you want to handle that? You just want this, if there is any questions in reference to any of the amendments that was received?
Yes, if there are questions, I'm hoping that if there are questions, everybody received them in their packet, in our board packet. So I mean, you can just say how many there are.
There are 21 budget amendments for this month. Some of those are from last month. For some reason, my amendments didn't get carried over when the date of the board meeting was changed. So we have a total of 21 amendments. State Amendment 28 through 32. Local Amendment 11 through 15. Federal Amendment 4 through getting there, 13, and current expense amendment number 1. And I can't explain that particular amendment. That particular amendment is to increase our budget by $100,000 using fund balance. And as we discussed when we did the Christmas bonus, that's where the Christmas bonus will be covered by. And I was hoping I would be able to move within the budget to cover that expense, but due to other expenses, I wasn't able to do that, like the roofing at the central office and things like that.
Okay. So basically the Christmas bonus that we approved last year in December, that ultimately came from fund balance.
Fund balance, yes. I was hoping that I would be able to move within some of the other PRCs. But like I said, with unexpected expenses like the roof and things like that, I wasn't able to do that, and I didn't want to risk moving and then something else came up before the end of the school year.
Okay. Any further discussion, any question concerning the amendments?
And I guess I want to ask for sites, will there be any additional questions for me? Because I do have to get off. I talked with Dr. Collington earlier.
Right.
If there's no additional questions.
Any board members have any additional questions?
No, sir.
No, I don't.
All right, online?
No.
All right, all right. Well, Ms. Campbell, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight in that regard. And let me just say on behalf of the board, continue to improve.
Thank you so very much. I miss you guys and hope to see you soon.
All right.
Thank you,
Hope to
Ms.
see you
Campbell.
soon as well.
All right, thank you.
Well,
Y'all
hope to
take
see you
care.
in person soon. I say it
Yes,
that way. I see
yes.
you tonight.
Exactly. Thank you, and you all take care.
All right.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay.
bye, Ms. Campbell.
Bye-bye.
Right. All right. Of course, action is required now to approve those budget amendments.
Make a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Second.
Motion has been moved rather by Mr. Williams and seconded by Mrs. Harrison that we approve the stated budget amendments. You've heard that motion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion by your voice vote. Ms. K.A. Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Bird Robinson,
Aye.
Ms. Hale,
Aye.
Ms. Jenkins, Mrs. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
O.D. Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect that the budget amendments have been approved by unanimous vote. Thank you so much. All right, at this time, we'll go to H, school calendar discussion, and Ms. Hale, you asked that be added to the agenda.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to discuss the school calendar for the next or upcoming school year. And my concern is because our students are already behind, I want our students to get as much remediation as possible. And so I was wondering if the system the system would be considering year-round school in order to catch our students up.
Okay, I guess, Dr. Congleton, do you have an answer for that?
Well, not really. We hadn't planned for a year-round school as year-round school is defined. However, as part of the reopening guidelines and so forth, we do anticipate that we will have summer program for our students. It's actually required to have 150 hours of remediation for our students. But if you want to move towards a year-round school, that's sort of a long process. It takes a whole lot of planning and that sort of thing. And it will be a little bit late this year to try to, plan for that. But we do plan to have a comprehensive summer remediation program to help our students. We do know that, just like everybody else, they've been at a disadvantage
Yes.
because of the COVID situation.
Absolutely. And with the summer program, you said it's required, will it be required for all students?
It will be available, to students, for those that are interested in. We cannot require the students, any student to participate according to the information that we have up to this point, but it will be available to students that want to attend.
And you said that was what, how many hours again?
150 hours is what the bill calls for right now.
Okay. And I was asking this because my concern is closing the achievement gap. That's my
Sure.
main concern.
Absolutely.
And I just think that we need to be about our business with doing that, with our students within our district, because Weldon can be just as great as any other district. And I'm just ready to move forward with doing so.
Yes.
And Dr. Congleton, I guess real quick, correct me if I am wrong. I think if we were ever looking at anything like that, one of the first things would be to seek community involvement, see what the parents think about it, because I certainly wouldn't want to us to, be talking about that as a board or a
Absolutely.
recommendation from you, and the parents had not had a say in it, as far as the survey is concerned. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right. And that's the reason I made a comment. It would be kind of a long, drawn out process, because it's not just somewhere we would just draw up a calendar and submit it. We would require input and committees and all kinds of things in order to do that, in terms of setting up a viable year-long school calendar.
And I agree with that also. I was just asking any way that we can start to begin to closing our achievement gap. That's the only reason I asked about it or brought it up. It's just time for us to, as a board, to start thinking about moving forward instead of being stagnated. That's the only thing. Our kids have suffered long enough, and it's time to move forward.
I think everybody has that same consent, Ms. Hale. As a matter of fact, I feel very strongly that everybody has that same consent, and your concern, of course, is duly noted. And I think that's on every board member's mind, and administrator and superintendent, and I think that's at the forefront of everybody's mind. And we certainly thank you for raising that issue again to keep it at the forefront of why we're here as a board. And hey, it might do us good to just put a survey out there to see if the parents would even consider something like that. It might be food for thought later on. I'm not saying right now, but it may be food for thought. But thank you so much for that, Ms. Hale. All right. Any other comments or questions concerning that? All right. If not, moving right along, presentations, number 6, our certificates of excellence. I think, is that Mrs. Terry Austin? All right, there she is.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
All respect has been given, and thankful for our families. I've been texting them to let them know when we were next. So hopefully they're tuning back in this evening.
All right.
Trying to stay communicated. So I know we've talked about a lot and shared a lot of information this evening, but this is my favorite because it highlights our reason for how we are charging into excellence and making sure that we highlight on this great things that our students are doing. So our first student that we're going to represent tonight, I get to do myself, self-service, right, Mr. Redmond? And I've chosen to kind of spruce it up. It's springtime, y'all. It's springtime. Yeah. So let's enjoy the spring. The flowers are blooming, and so are our babies. And isn't that an appropriate picture of Miss Carmen Pitchford? She's a Weldon Elementary Global Academy Student of the Month. She attends every Google Meet and fully participates during every class discussion. She has demonstrated great character and maturity in taking on more of the responsibility for her learning during this unique school year. Carmen has done an outstanding job moving to her new learning environment, and we're excited to see other success she has in her future. Awesome job, Cameron, and we are so proud of you. And she's a first grader there at Weldon Elementary Global Academy. So as you notice, I highlighted Miss Dedicated, and she's also responsible.
And look like she has her baby doll in her hand.
It looked like a real baby when you see it close up. So now we have Miss Josiah Story from Weldon Middle School. She's grown since her first day of school. She's become more responsible and attentive in class. She models for others in the 5th grade academy. She acts, scholars of acts of consistency in class attendance, class participation, and working hard to get stellar grades. She attends all meetings, including social and emotional meetings outside of the class, and gives her best each and every day. Josiah is a wonderful model of student growth and exemplifies student improvements through grit, determination, and hard work. I chose to pull the responsible and consistent tonight as we think about Josiah.
All right.
Our next student is Mr. Kaheen Bakersfield. He joined the Charger family this year, so he's new to our district and being recognized. He has thrived even amid a global pandemic and challenges that accompany his online learning. He's an outstanding attendance record, which directly correlates to his grades, as he was on the Weldon STEM High School honor roll during the first 2 grading periods. His teachers are very proud of his accomplishments through his transition into our school, and we are happy to have him as a part of the Charger family. So let's show him some of that Charger pride. He's a 10th grader. Next, we have Miss Courtney Evans from Roanoke Valley Early College. Hardworking and dedicated she is. Her research skills and presentation is exemplary. She's also has a high level of participation in class, always making sure to come off her microphone in every lesson to give her thoughts, and always the first to respond to other activities on Nearpod. Courtney does whatever it takes to make sure she understands things from the lesson and the day's assignments. I'm so happy to recommend Courtney as our March Student of the Month, and she was submitted by her science teacher there at Roanoke Valley Early College. Let's give all of the students a hand, please. Yes. All of these students will receive their gift certificate, their trophies, and signs in their yards. Mr. Bowers and I will probably go out tomorrow, if not tomorrow, no later than Wednesday, to deliver the signs and place them in their yards. Now, our Employee of the Month. We're happy to recognize Mrs. LaQuasia Hudson as Employee of the Month. Self-starter, motivator, and a team player. She goes above and beyond all of the expectations of her position. She has been instrumental with meeting with students during our recharge sessions to provide social and emotional support. The positive relationships that she has formed with our students and our families is evident in her knowledge of students' backgrounds and their family history. She's a team player and always willing to help out in any way she can. She's a self-starter, and her motivation to do whatever it takes for our children is infectious and much needed while we are dealing with the effects of this pandemic. Never negative, she's always offered a creative and positive solution. She is the epitome of positivity. We are blessed. Now this says, I am blessed. And it was submitted by, I forgot, I think it was the principal. It was Dr. Robinson. But I'm gonna change that to, we are blessed that she is an instrumental and viable part of the team and the family of Weldon Middle School. So please, when you see Mrs. Hudson, congratulate her on her being Employee of the Month. And she will also receive a gift from the district and a sign to go in her yard as well, to let her neighbors know that she is an Employee of the Month for Weldon City Schools. And last, we have our parent, Miss Vicki Johnson, as Parent of the Month. She's a motivator as well as support to all of our students. She's an active member of the team family again at Weldon Middle School. And she always logs on to our Family Academy Town Hall meetings and always supports and motivates all of our students during presentations and performances. She's a great encourager and a valuable and important asset to faculty, students, and staff of Weldon STEM Middle School. And I want to share, because I thought about it, I had not shared this. Our parents will get a trophy, a plaque, to go that they will get. And I would like to read it. So this says Most Valuable Parent Award. This award is presented to Ms. Vicki Johnson in recognition of your time and effort spent helping your child succeed in school. Weldon City Schools Parent Engagement Program, this is March 2021. And at the bottom, there are 2 and only 2 keys to educational success: hard work and parent involvement. That was by Michael Ferris. So she will get the plaque to hang on her wall, as well as a sign in her yard for this month until our next board meeting, along with a certificate. So we wanted to make sure that everyone recognized Mrs. Johnson for being our Parent of the Month. And I want to thank each one of you for giving me the opportunity to present our outstanding students, parents, and employees. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Austin.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Austin. Appreciate you.
Yes.
All right. Board members, can we please take a 2-minute break? Especially all of us have been just sitting. If you don't do nothing but stand up and stretch, please do that very quickly. All right, board members. We've had about 2 minutes there. Is everybody ready to resume? The boardroom is muted.
Yes, we're ready.
All right, okay, all right. It's on now.
Mr. Malone, rather.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Malone isn't back.
We have public forum. Everybody wait for him. Yeah, we can. Thank you, Thomas. This is really, I needed this. Oh, it is fine with me. Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Mr. Chairman,
Can he hear you? Is your mic on?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Dr. Congdon.
Okay.
Oh, I
Yes,
thought I
sir.
heard you saying something. I didn't see you lean up to the mic. I apologize. You did say something.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay.
I was just letting you know that we did have one person for the public forum.
Yes, sir. All right.
Mrs. Regina Brooks.
Thank you so much. I apologize, Dr. Congdon. I didn't see you move, so I couldn't
That's
tell whether
okay.
you. All right. We're ready. Mrs. Harrison or Mr. Williams, one of the two of you have your phone out?
I have it out for
The public forum. Okay, you got it, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Is Mrs. You said Mrs. Brooks?
Yes, sir, Mrs. Brooks.
Is she ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
She's coming in.
Okay, all right. Good evening, Mrs. Brooks.
Good evening.
All right, we have the 3-minute time. Mr. Williams is going to keep the 3 minutes. And of course, if you're on the verge of completing your sentence or two, of course, we'll allow you to do that. But the time is 3 minutes, and Mr. Williams is going to keep that time. And will you hold your hand up or something, Mr. Williams, to let me know when the 3 minutes has expired?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. All right, let us know when you're ready, Ms. Brooks.
I'm ready. I would
All
give
right.
my AG certification 2 minutes since we have so many AG certified people here tonight, because I'm well aware that you really don't want citizens to have an input in your system, because we don't talk at church about your system. We can't talk to you at work, down the streets. So my 2 minutes worth, I'm going to give you the AG version, okay? And I digress. And I have this for you. It's time that they meaning children, school board, superintendent, central office, service personnel, principals, teachers, and support staff that are focused on the future as you are. Never has a true word been spoken and so pertinent right now. We need leaders not in love with money, but in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. Dr. Martin Luther King. There is no such thing as going back to square one. Even if you feel like you're having to start over, you're trying again with more knowledge, strength, and power than you had before. Your journey was never over. It was just waiting for you to find it again. And I had the privilege of speaking to a wonderful student of mine, a student in my first year, 1976 kindergarten, a Dr. Kenya Wallace. And she was so enthralled with me. And she sent a letter to Dr. Congleton and the Weldon City School Board. It's a 2-minute letter, so I won't read it. As I say, I'm giving you the AG version. Last, she who kneels before God can stand before anyone. And I stand because I'm one of the She for National Women's Month. Thank you so much for your time.
Right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Regina Brooks, for sharing with us tonight.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
All right. We'll go now on our agenda to 8A for discussion and action. This is the Holden Temporary Services. Mr. Williams asked that be added to the agenda. Do we have discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
You know, it was on the agenda list in closed session, but it was said that it should be discussed here. So my thoughts are, Dr. Congleton wanted to be able to hold Holden services in case there were additional custodians are needed. If we found that the custodial staff we had, and it wasn't going to be able to get the job done with the cleaning and the in-depth cleaning and whatnot. Then he could use that, have that service on standby. I know we said something about using bus drivers and other ones, but I think, for him to have it on standby would be a good thing to do, considering that we're going to start school March the 29th. And when we have our next board meeting, it'll be the third week in April. So he could need those services before then. So I think we need to look at giving him authority to use that service, since they're going to be doing all the training and the background checks and everything. He could just be a readily accessible resource in case we need it.
Okay. I guess the only thing I would want to add, Dr. Congleton, before that service is utilized, do we have your, I don't want to say word, but that is another word didn't come into mind. Do we have your word that you would also use staff that we presently have to give them extra hours and not making them full-time, use that as an option first, and the option of getting other individuals to come in to do what needs to be done? Would it be safe to say that you would make that effort as well?
Absolutely. We will make opportunities available to any part-time staff that's relevant to whatever the needs might be, up to a full-time time requirement.
Right.
We don't want to push anybody into full-time, but it may be some instances where somebody could have an hour or a couple of hours added onto their part-time and still not be considered, full-time. So
sure.
we would utilize that pathway first. But
Okay.
I also want to emphasize that this goes beyond just possible custodial services, but I like to refer to it as general support services as needed. It may be cafeteria, it may be custodian, it could be clerical or whatever needs might be.
Sure.
But yes, sir, to reiterate, yes, we would look to see if any part-time folks are in the area in which we have a need, and if they are interested, in increasing their time up to the level of full-time without actually reaching that. And then once that's done, our next resort would be to go to the Holden temps and in order to fulfill our needs. Yes, sir.
Dr. Congleton, I'd also like to reiterate what I said when we talked about this a little earlier. Also opening it up to our bus drivers as well, if they want to get some of those hours. I heard you say part-time custodians and other areas, but I'd like to open it up to all of our part-time people prior to us using those services, to include the bus drivers, cafeteria, anyone in our district that wants that those extra hours.
I don't see that as being a problem. We'd be happy to pursue that as a first alternative. And before we go to the Holden temps, if approved, as the second alternative.
All right. I think we're putting it out there very clear, because we're trying to look out for our present part-time workers to make sure that if it permits, that we can give them a few extra hours. I know everybody would appreciate that in the times in which we live, but of course, at the same time, needing the extra help, as you said, Dr. Congleton. So I think that's being fair to everybody. Any further discussion?
Now,
Can't hear you, Ms. K.A. Roberts.
Attorney Malone was going to give us some information about something else that we need to consider regarding this. Is he online?
Yeah, I'm online. I thought that was.
That was
I pulled something about the adoption of the policy. Is that what you mean?
No. You said it was a paragraph that needed to go in the contract.
Right. Oh, yeah. I'll get that to Dr. Congleton. If the board, if the board approves the contract, then I'll get Dr. Congleton a a paragraph to insert in the agreement. Yes, yeah, I'll get it to them in the morning.
Okay. And board members, you are aware that that additional background check as it relates to schools that Attorney Malone referred to in our earlier discussion. Just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, it'll be regarding sexual registry checks. I'll get them a paragraph for that.
All right. All board members fine with that?
Yes.
Any further discussion?
No.
Ms. K.A. Robinson, if you're trying to say something, you're muted. Were you trying to say something?
I was trying to move this motion.
Oh, okay, all right.
I move that we move forward with the holding temp agreement with the caveat that we will utilize our current part-time employees first and with guidance from our attorney.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded by Mrs. K.A. Robinson and Mrs. Tanya Bird Robinson, respectfully, that we approve the holding temp services contract for additional help. And of course, it's spelled out. We know what it is. We've already stated that. You've heard the motion that has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none, all in favor of approving that contract or those services, let it be known now by your voice vote. Mrs. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. K.A. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Ms. Jenkins?
Said aye.
Oh, okay, I couldn't hear you. I apologize. Ms. Hale?
Aye.
And Sykes, aye. Let the record reflect that has been approved unanimously. All right, and we have 8B, revised policy 2342, our voting methods. Attorney Malone, did you find
Yes.
the information? Does
I
this
did.
require?
I did. I sent the board an email. Your policy says that a new policy would be introduced at one meeting and then approved at a subsequent meeting. But for an amendment to an existing policy, that can occur tonight if the board is so inclined to approve it tonight.
Okay, hearing that information, that all board members read that?
Yes.
Do I need to read it out loud now?
I'd like to ask Mr. Malone a question.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. In there, where you say physically present, does that mean they had to be here, or if they are virtual, that includes that as well?
It would include virtual, yes. It would include virtual if the board is meeting remotely, then being online is being physically present. Yes.
Okay, want to make sure. Thank you.
With that understanding, Mr. Malone, do you think it would be feasible to add physically in person / or and/or? Do you think that language should be in there?
I don't think so, but we certainly can add it. I mean, if the board wants to add that for additional clarification, I mean, I think that you are deemed present at the meeting when you are participating virtually under your virtual rules. You've got, the statute already kind of allows it. You've got your remote participation in a board meeting rules. But if the board is more comfortable, you could say, in person, at the meeting or virtual. Absolutely. I mean, that certainly can be added. It's not a problem. So I think it's needed. Probably not, but if you want to add it, I think it's fine. And if it provides more clarity and people are more comfortable, I think it's always better to be comfortable and clear. So yeah, feel free.
Yeah, I think it would be advantageous for us to do that, just as Mr. Williams said. I mean, he had the question, If we put the language in there, it defines it, spells it out without any reservation, any hesitation, and it further substantiates the policies that we already have in place as you referred to them.
I am fine with that change. I'm trying to pull up it's probably online, I guess. Do we want to, here it is. President is physically present at the board meeting. Yeah, I mean, we can easily add language.
I guess where you have failure to vote by a member who is physically present and or remote or virtually would take care of it. And that's just me. I don't know if anybody else has anything to suggest with that.
Hold on one second. Let me read the rest of it real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, I think that works fine. Failure to vote by a board member who is physically
present and or remote.
Well, I'm just trying to decide if we take physically out, does it get us there? Failure to vote by a board member who is present at a board meeting.
Or participating in the board meeting.
Yeah, I mean, if we get rid of the word physically and it just says who is present at the board meeting, who did not recuse himself or herself, doesn't that get us there if we get rid of the word physically? Isn't that in the word physically what's throwing us off?
Yes.
Yeah.
We can take physically out, but I mean, I just for more definition, and I thank you, Dr. Congleton, for that particular word. If we say present and participating, I just think we need to define as much clarity as we possibly can.
Okay. I mean, whatever you believe gets you the clarity that you want. I mean, I think you've got the concept. Personally, I think if you get rid of the word physically, I think that's what created the original question.
Okay.
And now it says a member who is present at the board meeting who did not recuse himself. So you're present right now virtually. I'm present virtually. They're present there. I think you've got it covered if you just remove the word physically. But if you want to add other language in, I think that's fine also.
No, I'm fine. I just want all of us to be at a happy consensus, because I don't want us to come back later and we say, well, I wasn't at the boardroom, I wasn't at the central office. I mean, as long as every board member knows, if you are present and accounted for and you casting a vote, you are expected as this policy is revised.
That is correct. I mean, I think if you delete the word physically, you have got it covered, because I do think physically, at least, it raises the question of, and that language is mirrored from that statute that I mentioned to you in the last email. That if you go to the city statute that has this similar language in it, that's where this language kind of comes from. But at the time that they drafted that statute, people weren't meeting virtually. So I'm perfectly fine removing the word physically as I look at it now. I think that works well. And I think it gets you where you want to be. But if you want to add more language in about participation, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I think you'll get the same analysis from me or Neil down the road, whether you add the other language in or not. But if you want to add it in, if that adds more clarity to the board, that's perfectly fine.
No, it's been clarified now. I was just trying to make sure that all of us were on the same page. Those in the boardroom, we all understand.
He just want to remove the word physically, right?
That's correct.
Yes.
That's good.
Those online.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Williams, go ahead.
Yes.
No, I was just saying it's good for me anyway. I'm good.
Okay. All right. It's good for everybody in the boardroom?
Yes.
All right. Good for everybody virtually.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now, the second question, do you all want to vote on that tonight, or do you want to wait until we come back to the next meeting?
No,
Heard one said tonight.
Tonight.
All right. 2 tonight.
Tonight.
All right. 3 tonight. Is there a 4th one?
Okay, what's tonight? Tonight's
Oh, all right. We got the 4th one. So a motion will be in order that we say, Mr. Malone, that we amend policy 2342 or we update?
That you revise policy 2342 as noted in the board materials, except you are asking to remove the word physically from the new inserted sentence.
All right. Motion is in order.
I make a motion to approve the revised policy 2342 with removing physical from the present one that we have. And is that all, Mr. Malone?
That's all you need, I think.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
All right. Motion has been moved and properly moved by Mr. Williams and seconded by Ms. Hale, that we revise policy. Excuse me?
I motion. By Ms. Hale and seconded by Mr. Williams.
I'm rolling.
Yes, you are.
It's been motioned by Ms. Hale. Thank you all so much. And seconded by Mr. Williams, that we approve revising policy 2342 concerning our voting methods and removing the word physically from the present material that was in our board packet. You've heard that motion that has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voting sign, your voice vote now? Ms. Hale?
Tiffany Hale, aye.
Ms. Burt Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Sykes, aye. Mr. Williams?
yes.
And Ms. K.A. Robinson?
Aye.
All right, let the record reflect unanimous approval of revision to policy 2342, voting methods. All right, now we have our consent agenda. Motion is in order to.
Nothing on it.
There's nothing there.
Yes, it is.
What?
You made two personnel recommendations, Mr. Dr. Conger.
That's action.
That's closed
That's
session.
from the closed session.
Right, that's what I'm saying, from closed session.
We said for the consent agenda.
I sure did. We took it. Look, we took everything off the consent agenda tonight. We should have just did away with that altogether.
That's what we were saying.
Thank you. All right. Number 10 is where we are.
Make a motion that we approve the recommendations as submitted by Dr. Congleton.
Second.
Thank you so much. The motion has been moved and properly seconded. Now this motion was moved by Mr. Williams
Yes.
and it was seconded by Ms. Hale.
No, Ms. Robinson.
Ms. K.A. Robinson, thank you so much. I'm not looking at the screen, looking at you all's face, that we approve the items from our closed session. You heard that motion, moved and properly seconded. Is there any unreadiness? Hearing none. All in favor of that motion, would you let it be known by your voice vote? Sykes, aye. Ms. Bird Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. K.A. Robinson?
Aye.
Ms. Hale?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Jenkins? Mrs. Harrison?
Yes.
All right, let the record reflect it was a unanimous approval for that particular item.
Mr. Chair.
we have anything else to discuss tonight? Any board members have anything they need to say?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
motion to adjourn.
All right.
Second.
Has been motioned by Mr. Williams, and I think that was seconded by Mrs. Jenkins, correct?
Correct.
All right, that we adjourn our meeting for tonight. The motion has been moved and properly seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Can we just all say aye together?
Aye.
Let the record reflect, Ms. Kitty, that it was a unanimous vote to adjourn. Thank you all so much, board members, for your support tonight, for your assistance tonight. Know we had a long agenda, but nonetheless, we took care of business, and that's what we are here for. Thank you, Ms. Kitty, for taking our minutes tonight. Mr. Redmond for handling technology. Dr. Congleton, thank you as well, and all the department heads, everybody.